Every year, when you see a team draft a quarterback really high in the first round, you get to the point where people start discussing whether or not that guy should start day one, whether they should be the week one starter, or if they should sit and watch and learn and bide their time and eventually get their opportunity when it's clear that that's the direction to go. And every year there's that discussion. Sometimes it happens internally in an organization. A lot of times, clearly, it happens in the media and with fans. And a lot of times from a media and fan standpoint, the perspective is you took the guy high, you took him that high for a reason. If you believe that he's the guy, why wait? Find out now. Why bench him? Why waste those development opportunities? Let him go in there, go through some of the bumps in the road, and see if he can develop into that dude for your franchise. Now you'll have some prevalent logic within the NFL that's still kind of behind the times and kind of old school in the sense of, well, we want our young quarterbacks to sit and watch and learn, and they can experience it that way, and we slowly bring them along, and that's the way it used to always be done, and that was always the best way. And to me, the very simple answer to that is bullshit. You could say, well, that's the way it always used to be done. That doesn't automatically mean that that was the right way to do it. That's a ridiculous precedent to go off of, and premise to go off of, I should say. Just because that's the way things are always done does not mean that's the only way to do it, does not mean that's the most effective way to do it, doesn't make it the right way to do it. So now we get to the Cleveland Browns, who are dealing with this very same debate, even if it's more so amongst the media and fans than it necessarily is the organization, the team, and the coaching staff. Because the coaching staff, especially head coach Hugh Jackson, has made it perfectly clear that Tyrod Taylor is going to be their starter no matter anything else. Yet, on the other hand, they took Baker Mayfield #1 overall. When you take a quarterback #1 overall, you better believe in that dude. And you better believe that he can become a franchise quarterback. And specifically, when you take a 6-foot quarterback with some off-the-field questions and concerns #1 overall, you best damn sure be convinced that he's going to be that dude and a franchise guy and a franchise changer for you for many, many years to come. Because if not, then you don't take the guy, period. Period. But Hugh Jackson's been insistent. There's no quarterback competition. Tyrod Taylor is our starting quarterback. He's going to be the starter, and we plan on him being the starter all season. And from Hugh Jackson's standpoint, maybe I get it. Tyrod Taylor just helped lead the Bills to the playoffs last season. After all those years, the Bills went without a playoff appearance dating back to the '99 season. Hugh Jackson coming off of 1-31 in 2 seasons, coming off of 0-16 in 2017, is fighting for his job, is fighting for his livelihood, is fighting to win games, and feels like Tyrod Taylor is the better choice and the better option to help him win football games. I get it. I understand the logic, and I understand the premise. And it's so backwards, and it so perfectly points out just how off and old school and backwards the logic within the NFL coaching circles can be. You took Baker Mayfield #1 for a reason. It's because you believed he could be that dude. If you believed that he could be that dude, then he could maybe show that he could be that dude from day #1. Also, if Tyrod Taylor really truly could be that dude, the Buffalo Bills wouldn't have traded him to you for a 3rd-round pick. Tyrod Taylor is adequate. Sometimes good. Sometimes less than adequate. He's not terrible, but he'll never be great. Long term, you're not going anywhere special or significant with Tyrod Taylor. You might feel like you can with Baker Mayfield. And who knows? He could totally bust out and be a washout and be done in 3 years. He could also someday have a bust in Canton. We don't know yet. Nobody knows. We might have our thoughts or opinions on it, but nobody truly knows. But if Tyrod Taylor was that good, you wouldn't have been taking a quarterback number 1 overall. If Tyrod Taylor was that good, you would have given up more to trade for him. If Tyrod Taylor was that good, you would have given up more to trade for him and drafted something else at number 1 overall, like a Saquon Barkley or another player. Because why? Because you would have felt like you had your long-term franchise quarterback for the next 6, 8, 10 years. Why the hell would you draft another young guy? Seems like fair logic. And I'm not trying to do this as a slam piece on Tyrod Taylor. I'm just pointing out the flaw in the logic here. If Tyrod Taylor was that great, if Tyrod Taylor was that special, if you traded for him, then you expect him to be that starter long-term. But from the jump when the trade was made, it was bridge starter. It's a bridge, a gap starter. He's a guy to bridge the gap until the rookie is ready. But in the past decade or so, we've seen this time after time after time, that these young kids that come out of college can play, acclimate themselves to the league right away, and their organizations are better off long-term for that, even with the initial bumps in the road, and the players most certainly are better off long-term for it. Like you look at the 2016 class. Jared Goff, number 1. Carson Wentz, number 2. Paxton Lynch was what, pick 26 to Denver? Paxton Lynch wasn't a rookie starter, but you could say that's just because it was a bad evaluation. He wasn't good enough. But if he was good enough, he would have been that starter right away. The Philadelphia Eagles made multiple moves up the draft board from 13 to 8 and then to 2 in order to get Carson Wentz, and was all said and done even after they had Chase Daniel in the fold, and they had given Sam Bradford a ton of money. When Minnesota came calling, they traded Sam Bradford. They realized that Carson Wentz was ready to go. They rode with him, let him figure it out as a rookie, and look at the next season. Here's Carson Wentz playing at an MVP level, and the team makes it to the Super Bowl and wins it. And funny thing is, without him in the damn playoffs and at the end of the regular season. Do you think Eagles fans and the Eagles organization wishes they would have sat Carson Wentz for half or all of his rookie season? Hell no! You want to talk about Jared Goff, and some knucklehead is going to sit there and say, well, Jared Goff sat like half of his rookie season, and look what he did now. He sat half of his rookie season because his head coach loved 7 and 9, and Jeff Fisher at the time, his head coach was a moron, and his head coach didn't know how to handle fucking quarterbacks. Again, I come down to very simply, if you thought the guy was that good, and you didn't think you had that guy on the roster, and you clearly didn't because you took the guy number 1 overall, then you play him. Go back to the Falcons in 08. Matt Ryan starts week 1 and made the playoffs that year. Matthew Stafford was an immediate starter. And while he's not the best in the world, he's been a franchise-type guy for the Lions for the past almost decade. I mean, sure, you could sit there and find these blips on the radar. Well, Carson Palmer sat behind John Kitna an entire damn year. Long term, did it really make that much of a difference that he sat behind John Kitna for a whole year? Or did you waste a year of his damn development by not getting him into live action? This is just like the real working world. You can talk about training classes and seminars and side-by-sides and all these other things. The best way to learn the job is to actually do the job. And you clearly felt, Cleveland, that Baker Mayfield could do the job. You took him number 1 overall for a reason. Because you knew you didn't have that guy in-house, and you thought he could be that guy. And if there is any doubt, and it is anywhere close, between the veteran and the rookie, always start the rookie. This is not hard to figure out. This is not rocket science. Always start the rookie. Because the rookie has much, much, much more growth potential than the veteran does that's been in the league several damn years. You're more likely to be the realization of what the veteran quarterback is, where the rookie quarterback, it could go this way, but it could also go this way. Or even in this case, even if he's still right here and not a whole lot better than the veteran, you're still finding out what the guy has. So for the Browns to go into this season because they want to sit there and maybe get to 500 and potentially sabotage Baker Mayfield's development for half, most, if not all of the damn season is completely and totally ludicrous to me and the epitome of something that an organization that I've called the skid marks for so many years would want to do. And you could say, look, last year, Hugh Jackson started Deshaun Kaiser most of the year, and that's why he's afraid to start Baker Mayfield now. But you ultimately also took Deshaun Kaiser towards the end of round 2. You took Baker Mayfield number 1 overall. I certainly as hell would hope that you didn't have the same draft grade on those two guys. And you also look at the situation Deshaun Kaiser was put in. How the hell was anybody going to succeed there? The talent around Baker Mayfield in that offense is much better, even with the retirement of Joe Thomas. This is so stupid to sit there and think that you would potentially want to bench your rookie number 1 overall pick quarterback for a quarter, half, if not all of the damn season. So that way you could go 8-8 with Tyrod Taylor. What the hell are you accomplishing there? No, you're changing the culture. Change the culture, my ass. The ultimate way you change the culture in Cleveland is you get to and win a goddamn Super Bowl. And you're not doing that with Tyrod Taylor. You hope because you took Baker Mayfield number 1 overall that he can be that dude. Well, if he can be, you play him right away. There are so many recent examples of guys playing right away that are better off for it. Why the hell would you want to go against the grain? Why the hell would you want to stay with this old-fashioned, antiquated logic that doesn't match the modern reality of the NFL? Baker Mayfield offers far more upside, far more playmaking ability. Sure, he might take more risks and more gambles than a Tyrod Taylor would. But if you're the Browns, damn it, you need some risk and gamble at this point. The Cleveland Browns should be starting Baker Mayfield not later on, not in 2019. They should be doing it and doing it now. If he struggles, let him struggle. If you lose some games early and you look bad, lose some games and look bad early. This is not just about this year. This is about truly changing the culture and becoming an organization that is viable and consistently competitive. Getting a few stopgap, short-term wins from Tyrod Taylor doesn't do any of that from you. Let Baker Mayfield learn by having him on the damn field. Baker Mayfield should start for the Cleveland Browns week 1. Screw you if you think otherwise.